Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 91 of Shattered Image, and this one is titled Ambushed. You're stalling, he whispered, his eyes still locked onto yours. Yeah, I know, you whispered back. Why? He whispered again, his eyes flicking to your lips. I'll explain later, you whispered back. Just trust me. I do, he replied, this time your eyes glancing at his lips. If you two kiss, I'm going to throw up. Hobie suddenly cut in. Don't be jealous, you replied smartly, looking at him as Sero quickly pulled back from you and cleared his throat. Are you all ready? Mr. Me and I asked. Not quite, you replied, still fiddling with your earpiece and then handing it to Sero for him to put it in your ear. You could see Mr. Me and I fidgeting and looking at the clock, and you knew that you couldn't hold him for much longer. Come on, Aizawa, you thought with another scowl on your face. Okay, we move now, Mr. Me and I suddenly snapped. Damn it, you thought, grunting with frustration. Get moving, Mr. Me and I commanded, pointing to the door. Hobie knows the way. Now move. Your auntie had now managed to make her way to her chosen area, somewhere near the water so that she could watch her imaginary fireworks sparkle over the waters. Her mind had built this up so much that she was practically busting at the seams to see her plan through. This was going to be amazing. As she walked around the harbour docks, she found the perfect spot and then remained hidden behind the boxes and crates there. It was quiet that night, not many people around, but that was perfect, right? It meant that the right person would come along at the right time and she could end her life with them, go out with a bang. She giggled to herself as she huddled there, rocking back and forth as she held her arms around her knees. Soon, she giggled to herself. Soon. You, Sero and Hobie were on the move now, making your way from car to train to bus as you worked your way across town to the docks where Hobie would board the boat. You kept your wits about you, but where Mr. Me and I was expecting for you to be looking out for potential threats to Hobie's life, you were more keeping an eye out for Aizawa to come and swoop in. He promised. He said he would. You kept reminding yourself as you did your best to remain calm, but time was ticking on, and if Aizawa didn't intercept soon, Hobie would be on this ship and it would all be over. He had to be rescued as soon as possible or this could all fall apart. It was actually a freakishly long way to get to the docks, but finally you got off at the final train station and walked with Hobie and Sero down the road to the other end of the street. The further you got, the more the buildings turned into sheds and warehouses, and you could smell and hear the sound of waves crashing onto the docks in the not-so-distant distance. I wonder how big this ship is, you thought. Is it more like a yacht? Is Aizawa going to be there already when we get there? You looked around again. No one was following you, and there was no Aizawa in sight, but you still felt uneasy. You weren't sure if it was because you were unsure of where Aizawa was and if he was going to make it in time, or whether it was the fact that you felt that there was going to be some kind of setup at the end that you hadn't foreseen, or maybe it was just how dark the docks were and there was no lights on in the area. This way, Hobie said back to you as he turned and headed down a back alley. This is the back way to the docks. There are no gates this way, he said. There were crates and all sorts lining this alleyway that led to the docks, and you started walking but then stopped. What's up? Hobie asked you when you balked behind him after taking a few steps into the alleyway. You said, as you looked around and then looked back to Sero behind you. Come on, Hobie said. It's not like you to be scared. I'm not scared, something's wrong though, you commented, feeling like there was some kind of ambush in this alleyway. The boat is just beyond here, Hobie said. We walk down here, turn right, and the boat will be ahead. I'll be free. He said he would let me go. Let's go, I just want to go, Hobie said, trying to keep his voice calm, but you could feel the undertow of desperation in there. Hurry up, Mr. Me and I snapped in your earpiece. He had been silent up until now, and his sudden voice made you jump. You scowled and clenched your fists, but took a step forwards anyway. I don't like this, you muttered to yourself. Hobie had started to walk faster ahead of you, and you felt like you needed to catch up to him, so set your sights on his back and walked quickly, the adrenaline in your veins forcing you to walk at double speed. You had almost reached the end of the alleyway when you heard a noise behind you, something smashing against a building wall, and you whipped around, your eyes settling on a sight behind you that gripped your heart with horror. There was this person, and they had grabbed Sero. You couldn't see that great, but you could see that they were holding something to Sero's neck. Hey! You shouted at them. What is it? Mr. Me and I asked into the earpiece. Hunter! Someone has Hunter! You said numbly, your hands starting to shake. What about Hobie? Mr. Midnight asked urgently. You looked around in the direction that you had last seen Hobie. All you saw was his form in the distance, running for the ship that was docked there. No, Hunter! Hobie's gone, he's run to the ship. It's Hunter, someone has Hunter! You said again, almost begging for him to do something. But, to your bitter dismay, Mr. Midnight sighed with relief. Oh, good. Hobie's at the ship now. You heard Mr. Midnight say, obviously talking to someone else, but you could still hear him. Hunter, you said again, we need to... Who cares about you? You're done. You and your boyfriend are the last of my problems. Mr. Midnight said cruelly into the earpiece. The mule is aboard the ship. The mission is done. I don't need you anymore. Your blood ran cold. What? You said numbly, still staring at the person who was holding Sero. You heard me, Mr. Midnight said. Goodbye, Yin. And with that his comms shut off, leaving you standing there in the dark. No sound on the earpiece, no nothing. Yin, run! You heard Sero call to you. No! You shouted back. Who are you and what do you want? You called to the person holding your man hostage. Me? A female voice replied. I'm here for my fireworks. Fireworks? You queried internally. What the heck? Deciding to ask, you yelled out to her again. He doesn't have any fireworks on him, you replied. Of course he doesn't. He is the firework, the woman replied again. It's going to be glorious. He was hand-gifted to me for this very night. It's going to be all over soon. What the heck? Is this lady crazy? You thought, still frozen to the spot. As you remained staring at them, your eyes adjusted in the dark, and you could make out what looked to be a bottle that was being held at Sero's neck. Yin, please run, Sero begged, wincing as the woman pressed the jagged edges of the broken bottle against his skin. You can't have my firework! The lady suddenly screamed at you. Yeah, well, you're not taking my man away from me, you thought, refusing to move. As you stood there, you heard the long, drawn-out blaring of a ship horn, and your heart sank. Hobie's gone, you thought. Aizawa didn't make it in time. I'm all alone now, you thought. This always happens. While you thought this, some of the lights around the dock started to flicker on, lighting up the area enough so that you could see the woman holding Sero. The lighting was very bad, but you kind of recognised this lady and you squinted at her. Wait, you said as you looked at her. Oh my god. Your eyes widened and you stared at her. It's her. It's my auntie, you gasped loudly. Yin, Sero called to you again. Yin, look at me. You looked at him. Slowly he closed one eye and held it closed. What? You asked yourself, what is he doing? Then you remembered back to the conversation that you'd had with him about using your quirk on him, and he offered for you to try it, since it said that he should be safe if he had one eye closed at least. I have to quirk her or she's going to kill him, you thought. Looking her directly in the eye, you activated, watching as she faded out and froze. Hunter! You shouted. Ah! He cried out, his face contorting as your auntie twitched and shoved the sharp ends of the bottle further into his neck. Ah! We have the same quirk! Your auntie suddenly said as she snapped out of the trance. I've been quirking myself ever since I can remember. I can go in and come out of my own maze, she said. Too bad for your friend here. Now he comes with me to the afterlife. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, stay tuned for tomorrow. I will be back. I'll see you then.